Oh yes, man. Welcome to the Wildwest Radio TV. This is DJ Grizzly and www.wildwestradiotv.co.za is where it's set. I am hanging out with the mayoral candidate Tyrone Gray this morning, right?
That's correct.
How you doing, man?
No, I'm good, thanks. And
I'm trying to get a comfortable position here. You know, are you good? Are you comfortable?
No, thank you, man.
Wonderful, man. So, Tyrone, how old are you, man?
Okay, so I'm 32.
32.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure of the history, but have we ever had a mayor that's around the youth age? We've never, no?
I don't think so. Not in Mayoral City.
So we're here creating history.
Yeah. We're following on from Bongani Baloy in Midville. So,
Yeah. All right, man. Wonderful. So, ladies and gents, Tyrone is from the Democratic Alliance, but we are not going to touch on the Democratic Alliance or any other political party. I need to speak to him as a normal citizen would, you know? We need to understand, firstly, what makes you think you're capable to be a mayor of Mayoral City? And how would you change things if you became the mayor? And what difference would you make should people allow you to be the mayor? Those are the type of things I want to touch on, amongst other things as well, you know?
Okay.
We're just going to have fun with this interview. So, ladies and gents, if you have a comment, if you have a comment, just make sure you leave it for us. And Tyrone will be sure to respond to it online, right?
Oh, no, definitely.
Sure, man. So, let's kick start it. How did you feel when you were sitting with everyone and you were announced as the mayoral candidate?
Yeah, it's quite a curious feeling. You're both nervous but also exhilarated.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So we went through quite a rigorous process to select.
Okay.
And once it was announced, the party doesn't want to they want to build up some hype around it. So I had to keep it a secret from my mom and friends and everything. That was very difficult. And then other than that, it's been an exhilarating journey. I have seen places in Mayoral City that I've never seen before.
Okay.
And I've lived here my entire life.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, especially in South Africa, we have such treasures and gems here. And then people want to perhaps go over to Paris or other places, and yet right on our doorstep.
You know, man, speaking of that, I remember I went to Coronation Park, right? I was with my mother. And we had these two guys, they were fishing, right?
Yeah.
And they caught a fish and they were frying it. And my mom is sitting there. She's a people's person. So she's like, hey, gents, can I have some fish? They're like, yeah, come through, have some fish. Like, oh, you South Africans? Like, yeah. One of the dudes was like, I lived in New Zealand for 4 years.
Yeah.
And it was the most difficult thing to do. Because every time I came back home, I realized the freedoms and the beauty that we have. Imagine New Zealand is a place of forest and what's not. But this guy was like, man, South Africa, is the place to be, specifically Mayoral City.
Yeah.
You know?
So I feel that Mayoral City is extra special in South Africa because, as we know, we're the cradle of humankind. Our slogan is the city of human origin. So without being prescriptive about it, we could be actually the Garden of Eden. And it deserves to be protected.
So jumping into your position as a councillor first, you're a PR councillor, right?
Yes, I'm a PR councillor.
Or you're running a ward?
No, I'm a PR councillor for Ward 33.
Okay, cool. So you have a regular job and you became a PR councillor. How did your life change in that moment?
So having a regular job, it's a 9 to 5, and you're allowed to switch off.
Yeah.
Whereas being a councillor, you are 24 hours on call.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as Saturdays and Sundays. Every day is basically Monday, which is awesome.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
The other issue is that when you work in the private or corporate world, you work for yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas when you work in public service, you're working for everyone else. And it was a huge learning curve to put the needs of everyone else above your own private needs. And, sometimes it actually devastates your own pocket.
Yeah.
But we do it because it needs to be done.
You know, someone once said to me, we select the wrong leadership, you know? Because let me just take it down to the black community, right? Because sometimes people get nominated because of their popularity. You know, maybe it might happen with the white community as well, but somebody just showed people something like an example during a meeting. She was like, you know, sometimes people forget that you cannot rent a flat and run people that own houses. You know, reason being, if you do have a house, you know that electricity needs to be bought, water needs to be bought, your yard needs to be maintained, the paint needs to be maintained, so as the councillor should know in the community that certain things should be worked. But the councillors that we have had are people that have never ever taken care of the people. You understand?
Yeah.
So, you as a leader, how have you changed one person or 10 people's lives?
Okay,
that
so
you are aware of.
So I can give you a good example. One of my priorities is formalization of informal settlements.
Okay.
I believe we're in the 21st century and electricity shouldn't be this luxury that's bestowed onto people.
Yeah.
It's necessary for so many things in our modern economy, and everything that we're doing right now requires electricity.
That's true, yeah.
Something as simple as applying for a job needs electricity, because how are you going to send your CV without an email?
Yeah.
And we managed to electrify Plot 89. It's next to Law School Noordgedacht.
All right.
And had we continued to hold the public purse, we'd have been able to electrify far more informal settlements. And just that ability for people to have warm running water, etc., fundamentally changes their lives.
Right. Is this a new age solar thing, a generator thing, or proper electricity?
Proper electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's wonderful. So, jumping into the mayoralship, right? The candidacy of the mayoralship. I don't want to say mayoralship and then we'll be on some. Yeah, you Chris. Hey, you talking? You know how people are. You know. Jumping onto that. What difference do you think you are gonna make as the youth should you become a mayor?
Okay, so I'm somewhat quite obsessed about the youth.
Okay.
Take yourself for instance.
Yeah.
I don't believe that you're getting adequate support from the sports, arts, culture, heritage portfolio.
Yeah, I don't, guys. You guys aren't giving me anything.
Yeah. So one example is granting aid should support our local-based artists.
Yeah.
This is why I'm actually so obsessed with our supply chain management. So supply chain is all the expenditure of the municipality.
Yeah.
And it's our money that's being expended.
Yeah.
It should be used to support ourselves. It makes no sense that we're using Mohali City money and supporting Joburg businesses, Tshwane businesses, Northwest businesses. We should be supporting our own businesses. An example to give is in August on the logistics section. So this is all the quotes that are under 30,000 Rand.
Okay.
It doesn't go through normal, 90 days advertisement on tenders, because it's small items such as sugar, paper, etc.
Yeah.
Of the 2.8 million that was spent in that month, only 3% went to Mohali-based businesses.
Okay.
And these are items which we clearly do have for sale in Mohali City. And it's curious that our public purse is being used as an ATM for other reasons. And that's something I'll definitely change. Simply by localizing our supply chain, supporting Mohali City, and also transparentizing it. I want to open the bid adjudication committee so that members of the public can come there, see everyone sitting on the committee and who is actually selected and why.
So, doing that, doesn't that make you a bit nervous? Because not everybody is for what you want to do. Understand?
Yes.
Because you might find people that are there to just cause chaos and negativity.
So yeah, it's true. I guess I am somewhat putting my life on the line, closing those taps of corruption, or ensuring the cash cow isn't completely eaten.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to decide what you want to do, and some things really are worth dying for. I mean, it's inevitable that it's going to happen to all of us.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can just make it worth it.
So, I'm gonna jump into the whole race thing, right? I'm not gonna jump into the political race because that's not for us. So I'm gonna jump into the whole race thing. Some people of color believe that you as a mayor being white, you cannot be able to help them with what they need because you are not from where they are from.
Okay.
It's ironic because you're from Mogale City,
Yeah.
but you know how people are, you know? So I don't know, do you have a plan to get people together, or do you have a plan that's gonna assist the white community and the black community? Like what's the plan moving forward?
Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do that I've witnessed in Mogale City isn't really present is constant communication and consultation with the communities.
Yes.
Such as using WWS to broadcast and regularly, even weekly or fortnightly, speak to the people. What do they want? What do they need? Where am I going right? Where am I going wrong?
Yeah.
Constantly ask them, because I'm not going to lead the city by myself.
Yes.
I'm going to lead it with the support of the community and critically ask them, guys, what do we need here? What do we need here? How are we going to address this? And it will be the community informing me how to direct the city.
I like the informal settlement comment that you made, or the activities that you put around there to put electricity going, right? Because there's a lot of informal settlement communities, and most of them, though, are not people from South Africa, you know? So how will you be dealing with such situations where our people are mixed with other foreign nations, all in the same place?
So the reality of the matter is South Africans must be prioritized in South Africa.
Yeah.
They are South African citizens, and not to say that foreign nationals aren't deserving of any of our constitutional rights, but at the end of the day, I will prioritize South Africans.
Yeah.
So the issue with informal settlements is that because you don't have adequate information or data on the settlement, it's very difficult to budget. For instance, if you throw a party and you're catering for 40 people and 100 people rock up, it's going to cause a deficit, and people aren't going to have as much fun, they're not going to enjoy. Now, like, there's one bottle of beer for like 10 people as opposed to like etc. So it has severe budgetary implications.
Yeah.
And in order to roll out adequate service delivery, you have to have verifiable data.
Yeah.
The reality of the matter is that national government hasn't been able to secure our borders. And it's actually very important because in South Africa, there seems to be double standards.
Yeah.
So if you have
maybe
to
triple standards.
Triple standards, let's call it. Because if I have to go to Nigeria, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, I have to have all the documentations.
Yeah.
And yet, the reverse isn't true when you're coming over to South Africa.
Yeah.
I definitely think both the SADC regions country, we all need to understand that we need to work together to ensure that the borders are respectively controlled, and equally so from both sides.
Yeah.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Exactly. So, coming to the youth, right? Us as youth. Hey guys, I'm still youth, eh? So us as the youth, you know, we are unemployed, you know, we have qualifications, and you know, we choose to be independent in a way, but we still need assistance. And I feel like now there's more youth in Mogale City than there was when the previous mayors were there. You know? So how are we gonna go around you assisting us as the young people, the future leaders of Mogale City?
So you're right. We have a devastating youth unemployment. Only 1 out of every 4 youths will actually find a job.
Yeah.
And the problem is, if you don't find a job quick enough, let's say by the time you're like 35 and you've never actually been able to be employed, you become unemployable.
Yeah.
There's such a gap on your CV that any employer is unlikely to take the risk in hiring you.
Yeah.
So one of the formalized committees that we can establish in Mogale City is a Section 79 dedicated to gender, youth and disability upliftment, capacitation.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, there's this thing that the youth usually does, man. It bothers me a bit. Because, you know, we go to college, we go to universities, wherever we may go just for after high school, you know? So what bothers me is that a person would go to university and come back and look for a job, you know? as the mayor, how would you advise or assist the person that can create jobs but needs a job themselves? You know, because the rumor is in Mogale City, when a person wants a job and they take their CV or the profile there, they just scrap it. I don't know about that. I don't know if you're aware of that or if you know any rumor about that, because people are complaining out here. You know?
Okay, you mean if people take to HR, then
it gets scrapped, you know? And there's this permanent employment in the municipality. I don't get it, you know? How a person can work as a permanent person in a municipality when it needs to rotate. So those are the type of things that I need to know when you become a mayor. How are you going to handle such situations? Because it looks like there's a lot for you to handle.
Yeah.
You know, with the youth specifically. You know, how do we win? You know?
So let's take, for instance, the CVs.
Yeah.
There should be a system established, not to disseminate personal information in terms of the Copy Act. However, if a CV is submitted to the municipality, there should be a register to at least say Mr. M, etc. has now submitted. Don't have to be in personal CVs, but the realization that it's recognized at least, and that there's something transparent to see that, okay, it's not just thrown away onto the pile. And should there be any opportunities, the list as it goes should be on a first come first served basis.
So do you believe that people in the municipality should be employed permanently or should be employed contractually? Because I don't know if a mayor's receptionist should be permanent.
No, yeah, so I disagree with permanent deployment.
Yeah.
The reason being is that it doesn't create innovation and creativity.
Yeah.
If you know you're permanently employed, you're not really going to strive to be better, because you know that in 10 years' time you're going to be earning the same salary and you don't have to keep pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
So I would only want fixed-term contracts, 5-year fixed-term contracts with regular developmental tracking. So if an employee isn't performing and we've given them all the support they need, then unfortunately we need to ensure that the public purse gives value to the residents. Because someone going to work and not working is actually theft.
Yeah.
So all of those things need to change. We need to have regular performance management units that actually, the performance management unit actually needs to perform.
Yeah. You know, the plan for the Wild Bush Radio TV is to become an actual TV station.
Okay.
You know? And the questions that they have asked me, those guys where you apply for stuff, you know, they asked me what is the difference between Soweto and Katlehong and the West Rand, you know?
Yeah.
And I have come to investigate that the West Rand is very business orientated, it's very business based, you know? And it's a lot of youth that has business, you know? So how would you assist the business sector in Mogale City, especially for the youth, you know, because there's a lot of people that have business but they're moving to the online thing, which personally I feel it's still very slow with us. But anyway, regardless where the business is, how would you assist the business people in Mogale City, because that's what's pushing our community here.
Cool. So we need to establish a robust database of all the registered businesses within Mogale City.
Yeah.
And we need to ensure that the supply chain supports those businesses.
Yeah.
I think fundamentally we have to use Mogale City money to support Mogale City.
Yes, exactly.
I must ask you a question. How do you keep inspiring yourself to be that entrepreneur, to be that guy that's pushing the envelope and not just wanting, you know, that permanent contract?
You know, with myself, I've always had a dream. You know?
Okay.
Martin Luther Grizzly. No, but honestly, man, I've always had a dream to be independent. You know, because I feel like we tend to forget that everybody has a journey. You know, everybody needs to run through a certain journey to get to a certain point. You know, you have your own journey where you're going to the mayoralship. You know, I feel people should stop trying to always ask for things and try to get things themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it works, man, at the end of the day, because and the benefits of being self-sufficient are just, man, they internally appetizing. You know, because when you do things yourself, it's much easier for Tyrone as the mayor to come and say, so you have a foundation.
Yeah.
You know, let me assist you going further.
And that investment is going to realize something. Sometimes if you're not able to make it by yourself and someone keeps giving you a handout, you might invariably fail. You know? This is the problem actually with local government, or in specifically Mayoral City.
Yeah.
It isn't independent.
Yeah.
It's dependent on the overdraft facility. It's dependent on grants from national.
Yeah.
And we need to build the internal capacity of the municipality so it can stand on its own 2 feet.
You know?
Yeah.
That'll be great, man. I remember this conversation was had that how can Mayoral City become an independent entity on its own? And I guess it just moved with the wind, or it was put under the table to say, no, you know what? We'll table it soon. You know?
Yeah, so like you were saying, there are some people that don't want Mayoral City to be independent because it's being used as a cash cow. We have entrepreneurs that are pilfering the public pocket.
Yeah.
And what's happened over the last decades, not unique to Mayoral City, but since this is a Mayoral City candidate, the internal capacitation has been outsourced to the point where some of our core functions are done by external companies. We need to start feasibility studying the insourcing of critical and core components of our municipality. Yeah,
man. You know, I'm really liking this, man. And I want to say to you, all the best with the campaign.
Thank you, man.
And, you know, people were negative about this, to be honest with you. Like, you are for another political party, but you're doing this for this political party. I was like, you know what? It's not about the political parties themselves. You know, it's not about black or white, even. You know, I was so excited that they decided to put a young person up front to do this. You know, that was my excitement. That shit. You know, Tyrone is doing the wow, man. You know, I never thought it would happen in a million years. You know,
and myself, I was quite surprised. You know,
because I remember when I was still associated with this specific political party, I've always asked questions like, when is the youth going to be involved in big decision making?
You know, those questions you ask have now found expression in me. So
man, I'm proud, man. So in closing, do you have anything that you'd like to share with the people? Any last thoughts?
So there is a greater unity in the commonalities that we face. And like you said, we need to have more political maturity.
Right, can you just pick up your phone? I think it's vibrating.
That our differences are less.
Okay.
And that we simply need to unite, and therefore we can win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, man. Again, all the best with the candidacy. And man, this is the Wild Bush Radio TV. This is going to be a historical interview. So it's there forever now, and your kids and your kids' can always come back and watch this. So I urge everybody to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all social media platforms, and be sure to support if you think personally that Tyrone will change Mayoral City.
Oh no, I will. Yeah, definitely improve it.
We don't know. You know? We don't know. Because politicians, you guys. You know,
I'm a civil servant, not a politician. I guess that's what the politicians say.
And I like how you guys just twist it. You know? But man, everybody, please subscribe to your channel. And if you have any comments, if you have any questions that I didn't ask for Tyrone, just be sure to drop those questions. And man, it is the Wild Show, and thank you very much. Peace. Yeah. I'll just re-edit whatever comes next. So it's fine. Let me just take a picture.
Sorry about that vibrating.
No, it's cool, man. I have people that answer calls and I'm like, no, answer it. For sure.